you have some of the biggest tech companies in the world that use your products, right?
Yeah.
Like TikTok, Meta.
Yeah.
What was the process like of coming in contact with those major tech giants?
Yeah.
And how were you able to close those deals with some of the biggest tech companies in the world?
You're probably gonna hate this answer, but it was just building the best product, and they came to us.
Wow.
So like, it wasn't any sort of level of hustle or networking. We do have direct and indirect competitors in the space who have tried to hustle their way towards those relationships. But the part that sucks is, what I've come to find out behind the scenes is, a lot of those key decision makers at those companies, like they hate that individual who just like pesters them all the time, doesn't leave them alone. As opposed to, if you have the alternative of, oh, there's this app that you just genuinely love, like forget the founder, forget me, forget Renji, they just love our product. It just makes it easier to build a relationship there. And so I'm not going to say that you need to just build a great product and they will come. Like you do need to make sure that you do a great job of like growth hacking on social, so they hear about you, and then like it spreads by word of mouth. But I will say that even if you get all the other things right in your company, whether it be your books or your team or funding or your partnerships or whatever, if you don't get the product right, none of those other things will save you. And so it's just so important to make sure that when building partnerships, you have a strong product to back you up.
Is that what you would say is probably the biggest challenge that startup founders face today, or is just building a good product?
Yeah. I mean, you've probably heard this term of product market fit, right? So like, you probably heard this analogy a million times where building a product or finding product market fit is like pushing a boulder up a hill. And once you crest the peak, you're like chasing it down the other side. That's how you know you have product market fit. Meaning like, you're just like, your users like they're using your product so much and money is pouring into your bank so fast to the point where like, you just can't support all those users. And you need to now go get another influx of capital from a VC to be able to then support that growth. That's how you know you have product market fit. And even today, we don't have that. We have a good product. We don't have product market fit because I think our biggest blocker is the hardware, right? Until everyone here has a pair of glasses or a headset or something, we just are not going to have that insane growth. So
what do you think it's going to take for that to become mainstream and everyone to have that, you know, the product, everyone's wearing the glasses, some of the Oculus, stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the tech giants have to prioritize common use cases. Gaming is great for most kids, sure. But I mean, if the vast majority of people who have money are not kids and they're adults who have jobs, you probably need to create use cases for them if you want to sell more units, more headsets. And so something like the iPhone, like let's make the comparison of like these two devices that both fit in your hand, right? You have a Game Boy and you have an iPhone. Game Boys are great for kids, but iPhones are practical for adults and kids. What do you think is going to make way more sales? The iPhone, clearly, right? But the Game Boy was a great form factor. It's a great test bed for technological innovation. They had a high user count, sure, but was it ubiquitous like the iPhone? No. The iPhone set the precedence for a device that can hit billions of users. I think they have 2 billion iPhones out there now. And I think like 3 billion Android devices out there, which is insane. I think that for us to make sure that we're going to be a ubiquitous application, we have to do what we can behind the scenes to work alongside these tech giants to get them to prioritize the applications that are the most compelling. So for example, you probably saw the Apple Vision Pro get announced, right? Which is not really a VR headset. It's more what they call a spatial computer. It's more of like a MacBook on your face that kind of does 3D spatial computing. That we really believe is what's gonna, and Apple's smart. They do a great job of creating the right products that people want for the future long term, right? And so this spatial computer that they created is their next Mac OS. Whereas with Facebook, they're more so just creating kind of like more of like a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox on your face. And so the total addressable market for PlayStation versus MacBooks and PCs and Linux computers, I mean, it's not even close.